Code of Ethics by Nicole Kellums. There's also a link at the bottom you can click on to find out more. Expectations for Arkansas educators. There are 8 standards. The Code of Ethics for Arkansas educators defines minimum standards of ethical conduct for all educators. The State Board of Education approved the standards on September 1, 2008. The DESE rules governing the Code of Ethics for Arkansas educators further defines these standards and provides a process for investigating so-called violations. Standard 1. Maintain a professional relationship with each student, both in and outside the classroom. It is important to maintain that professionalism because everywhere in the community, there are students and parents who are watching you. It's like being under a microscope. You're being watched closely outside of your classroom. So, keep a professional relationship between students and educator. Respect should be on both sides. It should be on the student side and it should be on the teacher side. Understanding what some students go through and letting them know that it matters. They matter. It builds a safe space for them. Students will want to respect the teacher's authority even more. Remember to first be their teacher, then you can be their friend. Standard 2. An educator maintains competence regarding his or her professional practice, inclusive of professional and ethical behavior, skills, knowledge, disposition, and responsibilities relating to his or her organizational position. Once an educator enters the school doors, students need them to be speaking positive, smiling at them with acceptance, greeting them, excited to see them, glad that they're here. Hey, bud, how are you doing? I'm so glad that you're here today. Good to see you. Your team will portray your disposition on how you react. Be cautious on how things are handled. Educators' personality, behavior, and responses will bleed over to their students and their team. Students can sense every emotion, whether you realize that or not. Let's continue standard 2. Entering the classroom snippy, short-fused, stressed out could cause the student to feel more abrupt, uncomfortable to communicate, making it difficult to learn, and they can even act out even more in your classroom because they're feeding off of your energy in the room. You set the energy, you set the atmosphere. You want peace in your classroom? Be peace, be calm, be collective. You are the ground. You are grounding them to stay peaceful, to stay collective. Responding to certain students with cursing, calling them out publicly, or telling them not to do something and they see you do it jeopardizes your professional disposition. It is very important to keep your professional disposition. There is no need to ever yell at a student. And if it comes to that, please give yourself a break and some time away, however you see fit professionally. Okay. Standard 3. An educator honestly fulfills reporting obligations associated with professional practices. As you see, there's a picture of a girl. This could be a girl or a boy. Signs of child abuse and neglect. They will have behavior changes, unusual cuts, bruises, or marks, inconsistent stories, changes in grades or academic progress, frequent absences, regressive behavior, mood changes, and unsupervised time at home. So, as an educator, you're a mandated reporter. These are signs to look for. Students look up to their teacher for safety even when they can't voice it themselves. Keep an eye out for red flags of any signs of neglect, abuse, or harm to that student. Keep in touch with your fellow educators on the students you may suspect. There is also a link down here below You can call the child abuse hotline, or you can click on the link. Standard 4. An educator entrusted with public funds and property, including school sponsored activity funds, honors that trust with honest, responsible stewardship. You've got to have responsible stewardship when you are handed this big of a responsibility of public funds and property. Educators are to have good stewardship over the government funding that is provided to ensure that the students have what is intended for them to learn and grow accordingly. Put safeguards in place to ensure the funds. Who is keeping track of what? Who is keeping track of what is being processed? Assign a person to handle signing the approvals, checks, and receipts. And if you're the one having to keep track of all of it, keep all the receipts. Do what you have to do to ensure safety of this information so nothing is lost. You've got to stay organized. Standard 5. An educator maintains integrity regarding the acceptance of any gratuitous gift, compensation, or favor that might impair or appear to influence professional decision or actions, and shall refrain from using the educator's position for personal gain. So, educators are professional that should not partake in bribery or over the top gifts to be persuaded to show any favoritism to a particular student. $10 or less is acceptable. Gift cards, candy, soda, maybe even a small flower. Okay, guys? I know students want to show their affection towards their teachers, that they honor, respect, and love. And sometimes that love language of giving our students have. And so just make sure that they know that they don't have to, but if they feel like they must, a small token is greatly appreciated. Standard 6. An educator keeps in confidence secure standardized test materials and results and maintains integrity regarding test administration procedures. These standardized tests are a big deal when keeping the material secure until it's time to administer them or disperse them. Someone trusted should be the only one with access to the locker room where tests are being kept. This person should have training and take the appropriate procedures for signing in to retrieve the documents and know how to set the testing materials up and to set up and to have the protocols in place. It is a huge deal. They cannot be tampered with. Standard 7. An educator maintains the confidentiality of information about students and colleagues obtained in the course of the educator's professional services that is protected under the state law or regulations, federal law or regulations, or the written policies of the educator's school district, unless disclosure serves a professional purpose as allowed or required by law or regulations. Let's get into that a little bit more. Let's continue. Confidential. It's important to keep all information about your students and your coworkers confidential. Pay attention to what is left out on your desk or in the room, even in your car or your home. Sometimes us teachers do take paperwork home and we have to grade papers. People will automatically be snoopy and look and start to read it. You've got kids at home, they're going to look at that paper and read it. And some of your kids can read. Some of your kids in your classroom, if you got papers on your desk, will just come over to ask you a question. They will start looking at those papers and start to read it. They are naturally just snoopy. So you've got to be careful. Having access to sensitive information has to be secure. You have to be trusted. Standard 8. An educator, while on school premises or at school sponsored activities involving students, you need to refrain from A. Using, possessing, and or being under the influence of alcohol or unauthorized drug substances, or possessing items prohibited by law. B, possessing or using tobacco or tobacco-related products like e-cigarettes, vapor products, e-liquid, okay? And C, abusing, misusing prescription medication or other authorized substances, abusing, misusing prescription medication or other authorized substances as evidenced by impairment. Guys, you are setting the example. Children look up to you. Coworkers look up to you. You are an enjoyment. You set that standard. You set the example for your students. Be a good example. Please refrain from A, B, and C. Okay, penalties and fines will conclude if you are, and I'll just say this, anybody can fill out the allegation of violation form. So if someone fills out an allegation on you for violating any of these standards, they can. And this is what will happen. There will be a letter of caution, a written reprimand accompanied with a fine, probation with a fine, suspension with a fine, revocation, and any training required by the board will be at cost to the educator that has violated any of these standards. And so this can get very costly, and this can also add negative to your reputation. It does not look good if you have to keep going through this order here because of any violations of these standards. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.